and skinnier, by the way.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, your friendly neighborhood Christian whistleblower. Glad to be with you here tonight on a Monday night. And I don't know why Monday has such a bad reputation. Monday is just another day, brother. It can be a fun day. It can be what you make it. Don't let the man tell you what Monday is. Let's redeem our Mondays. And here to help me redeem Monday is my good buddy, Jay Campbell. From TRT Revolution. Jay, I hear you just had an epic talk with a guy that just had an epic experience over in Egypt.
I did, man. I just did a podcast. And what's up, Jeffrey? I'm so blessed to be on your show today. I truly appreciate it. How are you?
I'm excellent, man. Like you said, I'm getting thinner and thinner. Your program's working for me. I'm feeling better and better.
Yeah,
and
man.
if I was going to get any better, it'd have to be twins, brother.
Triplets.
I tell you, I may have felt better, but I don't remember when. I'm telling you the truth. Everything's all good.
That's awesome, man. Well, I mean, you know that, right? Like the fasting, if people would just learn to fast, it's a game changer, right?
It is.
I mean, in every area of your life. But yeah, so I just got off a podcast in my group, the Decoders of Truth, with Matt Belair, and you can find more about Matt at zenathlete.com. Matt's an amazing dude. He's 33 years old. He teaches pro athletes, super accomplished, professionals, how to go within and how to reach your highest levels. But he just came back from Egypt. Nice. With Nassim Harriman of the magnetic resonance imaging, whatever he does. But he's a brilliant quantum physicist, and they had a bunch of all these other people. But his, as I was telling you off the air, he was in all of the pyramids, and he's like,
that's exciting.
He said it's the most mind-blowing experience that a human being can have. And this is a guy, by the way, who's traveled in all the continents. He's like meditated with yogis in Nepal. I mean, the guy's like, he's done it all. And so, for him to say what he said by being in these pyramids, and one of the things he told me that was like very shocking, and you already know this, and I'm sure a lot of your listeners know this too, but he's like, Jay, when you walk into these pyramids, the first thing that you realize is that they were literally built by beings that had to be at least 15 feet tall.
Really?
He's like, they have these like gigantic doorways, and then they have these like small passages that you would think, and again, he's just like thinking this out loud, but like they were designed by either their servants or people that just worked for them, because there supposedly wasn't slavery in Egypt. I mean, who knows? We don't know.
Who knows?
But he's like, it's just incredible. He's like, you go in some of these rooms, like he laid in one of the coffins or one of the burial chambers. And he's like, it's a burial chamber for a being that had to be 25 to 30 feet long.
And I've heard some people say they were like maybe perhaps deprivation tanks for meditation and solitude, possibly.
Amazing. He's like, listen, man, he just told me, he's like, if you can get here, you and your wife, you guys got to spend at least 10 days here. It says, honestly, I told you they did Om meditations in there, and he's like, the spin and you feel your body and the vibration. He's like, it's just incredible.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So he really believes, and this is a guy of science. He's not some woo-woo crazy guy. He really believes that those things were probably built by people 15 feet tall, huh?
Tall. He thinks taller.
Amazing. Yeah. So 15 feet tall beings that had people working for them or with them that were more or less normal size.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my personal opinion is, and I know some other guys that have written some books on the Giants. One of the guys who's in the Decoders of Truth, Xavier Hayes, he's written some fascinating books on the Giants. And he says that there is, research. Of course, the Smithsonian has covered it up, Jeff, as we know.
A lot of stuff.
Almost everything. But that there's skeletons that are 22 feet long, that they have these skeletons of men, they have, and their armaments, they've got their actual like the ornamental breast
their
shields
armor.
Yeah, dude. It's amazing. I mean, we know nothing about this planet. It's
crazy. There's a lot of people that have talked about there being those giants and those giants being covered up, and the show's complete. We now have one Miami Vice reference, I guess. See, last time Jay wore a coat, and I figured I better look good this time because Jay's sharp. And then I show up with a coat, and I get the Miami Vice.
But Jeff, you look great, man. I've got my Under Armour warm-up jacket. I'll just keep this on though, Jay. I got a tank top from training. I've not stopped today. I'm trying to finish my book. I went right into a podcast with Matt, right into you. I mean, I love this though. This is my life.
Tell us about your book.
So the book, yeah, I'd love to talk about it. So the book is essentially done. We're still editing it. I have 6 doctors on my science team. And by the way, the doctors that are part of this book are literally the creme de la creme on the planet for hormone optimization. Like, these are the guys that, like, if you're going to pay to understand like how to balance the human endocrine system, these are the guys. So the book is, from a science standpoint, it's airtight. And not only is it airtight, it's so state of the science that it's going to cause shockwaves in the medical community, because these guys are putting out data that really is experiential to their practices. I mean, dude, I got 2 guys that have been prescribing testosterone for 20 plus years in this book.
Wow, that's awesome.
So imagine the data that they have with their parents. I mean, their patients. And by the way, these guys are brilliant guys already. But not only have they been prescribing it, they've been on it themselves. So they are literally the true human guinea pigs and experimenters, if we could call it that way. And then I also just have.
And how are they doing, by the way? How's their health after 20
years? They're amazing, dude. These guys look like, they're in their 50s. And if I showed you pictures of them, they look like, fitness icons in their early 20s.
So much for the idea that if you supplement testosterone, you're going to hurt yourself.
Your balls are going to shrink. Oh no, your penis is going to shrink and your brain's going to explode and you're going to die of cancer and your prostate's going to get cancer in 3 months.
I'm guessing that you didn't actually see their sex, their junk, but they assure you that it's okay.
I've met their wives. Doing well. But yeah, dude, the book on hormone optimization, though, it really is a book on life optimization. I have a whole section in there on spiritual fitness. There's obviously fitness, there's fat loss, there's meditation. I mean, it's honestly, it's a Bible of life optimization. And we also have a chapter on there for women, which is going to lead to a book for the doctor who wrote the chapter with my wife. And there's, unfortunately for women, which is crazy because women are really the money behind anti-aging, right? Because they spend stuff on their face and beauty and all those things. But there's been nothing put out there from a hormonal optimization, fitness optimization, beauty and health angle that was all encompassing. And, my wife is in the right place at the right time with this physician. And the physician, by the way, is a guy by the name of Dr. Jim Meehan. Dude, he knows your show. He's from Oklahoma.
I've heard of him.
Very aware guy. He's in the Decoders of Truth. Amazing, right? Man of science, but totally aware, totally just amazing, dude.
Just a quick question before I forget. No, I have not been taking any testosterone. I've just been doing the
blowtorch.
Yeah, the blowtorch, the nutritional part, the working out part, getting out of the house part. I have not been doing any supplementation, not yet.
Not yet, exactly. But yeah, so Dr. And that's what's so cool. This conference, which I went to like 3 weeks ago, which you and I spoke the week before I went to this conference. These guys are literally like it's called AMMG, which is age management and medical, whatever the acronym stands for. But these are literally the top guys in the world. Like these people, it was in Tucson. They flew in from all areas of the world, and literally being in these lectures for 4 days. I'm a science dork. I was speechless. Like I literally didn't even want to go back to my room. My wife's like not science like me. And she's like, let's go, we're in Tucson. It's beautiful. I'm like, I'm sorry, babe. I'll see it. Go hang out the pool, go in the spa, whatever. I gotta be here. This is my life. But these guys were amazing. And then meeting them, I mean, Jeff, these guys are aware, dude. These guys are not like these inertia academics, don't believe in what we believe in. I mean, these guys are like, whoa, like I had a guy talking to me about the Pleiadians and shit. I'm just
That's amazing. Somebody asked a good question before I forget it. Sure. I do polyphasic sleep. Do you know what that is?
Of course.
What do you think about polyphasic sleep?
I think it's amazing. So sleep is literally the most underappreciated thing in society worldwide today, because we are so into this biohacking work beyond belief, don't need sleep. I'm telling you, if you don't sleep at least 6 hours a night, 6 to 7 days a week, you are going to start having metabolic issues. And it also leads to all kinds of other things. It leads to obviously suboptimal hormone levels. I mean, you're on the fast train to, biological, destruction if you don't sleep. So
I'm pushing that, Jay, because I'm sleeping 5.5, 6 hours a day. That's it.
You're fine. Like I actually have it's so funny. I have a study in the book that says sleeping more than 8 hours a night actually reduces your lifespan.
Oh, I can imagine.
So there is something about not sleeping too much, but there's also like a bare minimum threshold. You definitely need to get at least 6 hours of sleep about 6 days a week. I would say if you can get 6 hours of sleep every night, you're fine.
Gotcha.
If that means one night you get 4.5 and then the next night you get 7.5, you're okay.
Gotcha.
Right. You just kind of go up and down, but no, you definitely need to get sleep. And there's a lot of different ways to sleep and improve sleep. I'm not a big believer in drugs for sleep. Most of those things screw with your SSRI, your serotonin uptake and your selective uptake. People can use melatonin, but melatonin also, I can't use melatonin. My wife takes 5 milligrams of melatonin, sleeps like a baby, feels amazing in the morning. If I take 2 milligrams of melatonin, I have a headache in the morning.
No kidding.
So, and we also write about that in the book. There's a lot of people that don't respond to melatonin. Now, obviously,
Your wife doesn't
melatonin.
want to hear about you getting headaches at night, though.
No, exactly. Melatonin does increase pineal gland secretions. We know that, but it doesn't work for everybody. So, melatonin is not an answer. There are new peptide compounds that are coming into the market that are absolutely amazing. There isn't a lot of science or data on it other than like these high-level doctors with their patients. But dude, some of these peptides literally regrow hair, healing. We write about one in the book. It's called TB4, and it's thiamine beta. I don't know. It's some weird biochemical name, but dude, they are using this on people that have blunt physical traumas like car accidents, assaulted. One guy who was assaulted by a gang in Oakland and left for dead. They gave him this peptide he was dead. He was like on life support. They gave him this peptide for 7 days. In less than 1 year, he's recovered completely with no delayed like brain faculty issues, no response. I mean, it's insane. The bottom line is there's this whole new branch of medicine in peptides. It's coming into the marketplace, and it really does offer amazing, like way beyond anything we know in science right now. Here's the issue. The pharmaceutical companies, our friends,
Yep.
A lot of them are not, FDA approved, right? Because they can't patent them because they're too cheap to manufacture. So they're off label and, buyer beware. So you got to go through a compounding pharmacy. And I, because of who I am in my world, I have a lot of friends that own compounding pharmacies. So anyway, listening to the research at this conference and listening to these doctors talk about some of these things. And again, this isn't, a bunch of guys gray market in their, bros in their basements. This is like real compounding pharmacies using them with doctor patients. I mean, Jeff, it's amazing. So we're right now of science really improving medicine, because as you and I talked on the last time we were on, medicine's a joke, right? It's a sick care patient model. It's not a healthcare model. There's no health about it. There's no wellness. They don't give a shit if you're in good health. They just care if you're sick. Right. And then they prescribe drugs, and then they make you sicker until you die.
So, we're talking about, testosterone replacement. We're talking about, these new drugs. We're talking about fitness. What does this have to do with spirituality? What does it have to do with making people better spiritual people and contributing to their spiritual ascension and development?
It's a great question. And you asked it last time when I was on the show, and I know we both agree on the same thing. This vessel that we call this physical body is all we have in this 3D incarnation of life that we have right now. And when it's blocked from eating horribly, from not exercising, from being obese, from having your chakras blocked, from all this other physiological crap that you put into your body because you don't care, you can't be healthy. And if you can't be healthy, you cannot receive what I call a connection, a clean, clear connection to spirit. It's just impossible. You're not even in a conscious state to think about meditating, to silencing your brain. You're so caught up in how horrible you feel that it becomes a preoccupation for the majority of your time in your life, right? Like you can't even fit into your clothes. You look at yourself in the mirror when you get up in the morning to take a shower and you're disgusted. And if you're not disgusted, you're delusional. So it's one of the two. So now you're like living in this like alternative universe of not reality that you've conjured for yourself so that you can get by. So yeah, you have no connection to what is or what's greater than you. It's impossible.
Yeah. It's amazing, Jay. You just mentioned that. And, I'm not a super narcissist. I might be a little narcissist. I'm not sure. But, the other day I was, going about my business and I happen to catch a glimpse of myself in the mirror, and I'm like, whoa, I really am losing weight. I noticed that gut was gone. I'm starting to see a little bit of, abs up there on the top. I'm like, holy crap. And when you see that, it has the exact opposite effect of what you just described. You see yourself fit, you see yourself looking good, and all of a sudden you're feeling good, and all of a sudden you start feeling good, and then everything just starts firing off. You start connecting to source. You start hearing from the divine. You start wanting to be nicer to people and better to people. You start wanting to better yourself. And it's that proverbial snowball rolling downhill, but in a positive fashion. What you do is we're so used to negative inertia in our lives. When you start building that positive inertia, you become a runaway train, brother, in a good way.
No doubt. It's just like Earl Nightingale. We become what we think about. I mean, there's absolutely no doubt about it that when you have an overarching goal of maintaining your physical vessel, and again, this is, like you said, not narcissism. We're not talking about being super fit, bodybuilder level type stuff. We're talking about having functional strength, being lean, that you're avoiding the diseases of aging. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about if you're we're talking about if you're watching the show. And by the way, I wanted to tell you this. I got a lot of amazing compliments from your listeners and your readers and your watchers. I got so many great emails from them. You have an amazing base of people that watch your show, dude. I mean, like, really,
I appreciate that.
High conscious. You do. You have truly high conscious people. And every single person that emailed me, I sent them all my books. I said, how can I serve you? I mean, they're all good people, but the point
we got some good looking people in here too, Jay, on both sides of the aisle.
I'm sure you do.
And a lot of them that are getting better looking.
Dude, I literally stopped ever since the whole Rex thing. I won't go on other people's YouTube channels and watch the chats and see stuff because, like, I want to be absorbed, right? I want to be present. But and I know you have to, because obviously for your show and stuff. But but back to what you're saying, like, it's so critical to truly carry yourself with your physical being as, like, being in health, because the way you are perceived is huge. I mean, we can't control that, right? But when you're in life and you're in a work situation, or you're in an environment when you're consulting with people or whatever, and your physical aura, they talk about your auric field. That thing is so powerful when you project an image of a person that takes care of themselves.
And not to mention, Jay, if you're trying to talk to somebody about their spirituality, and you look like you can't walk past a Twinkie, it's going to affect your credibility.
Like you said, right? One of the priests that you worked with was over 300 pounds, right?
Oh, he was a Twinkie shy of 400. And he was calling me on the carpet because I was bodybuilding, and he thought it wasn't honorable to the Lord.
Oh my God. It's crazy.
That was back in the day, but still the point stands. And it not only does it make you feel better, but it makes people feel better about you. And as Jay just pointed out, it really does improve. I'll guarantee you, I read auras, and it's a very rare person that's overweight, sick, that has a good aura. And those auras are what people feel of you, what people get from you. I mean, there's a lot of people that aren't physically attractive people, that their auras are just like boom, because they're fit, they're spiritually fit. And that really, in the long run, is more important than what you look like as far as just your looks. But if you're in shape and you're healthy and your aura is showing that, boom. It really,
I so agree with you. I would actually take it a step further. I would actually say that if you have a powerful auric field and you're healthy, it doesn't matter what you look like.
I agree 100%.
Because you literally are projecting Tony Robbins.
Yeah.
I mean, that's literally what people see. Your physical manifestation is not your, holographic personality or charisma or whatever that you push out there. And you're right. That's the way you carry yourself. It's so easy. We're not all good looking, right? But we all to take care of ourselves.
Yeah. And here's a terrible example, but it's in the news, and there was a lot more going on to this. But if you think about a person that wasn't very attractive, was about 5'3", but seemed to have this magnetism about him, not a good magnetism, but he had a magnetism about him, Charles Manson.
There you go. Yeah.
And I mean, you think about the guys in Hollywood that are leading men under 5'5", Tom Cruise, Dustin Hoffman, Robert De Niro. You talking to me? I mean, these guys, you think they're under 5'5".
It's incredible. They're all midgets. I mean, even Sly Stallone is 5'4".
I think he's a little bit taller than that, but not much. I stood
Dude,
next
he
to
is
him, and
not.
he's way shorter than me.
But the reason he was taller, look at his shoes.
Oh,
Those
that's true.
guys are
That's
straight
true.
up wearing platform shoes, dude.
Yeah.
When I
Bruce
met
Willis is only, I bet, 5'8", 5'9".
dude, the greatest myth of all time is Arnold Schwarzenegger. He literally makes sure that the Academy always lists him as 6'2". So this is a funny story. When I went to the first time I came out to California before I lived here back in 1991 or 92, and I
Kevin
went to
Hart's might say, does he 4'3"?
dude, I went to the Walk of Fame or the Stars, the Walk of Stars, and I saw Arnold Schwarzenegger's handprints and footprints, and I put my foot in his foot. Now I'm not a beast. I mean, I'm 6'1.5" and I have a size 12.5 shoe, but I put my foot in his foot, and I was like, "What the? This isn't Arnold Schwarzenegger, dude." The guy is tiny.
Jay, that's the craziest thing you mentioned, because I was at the Planet Hollywood in Tahoe when I put my handprint and his handprint, exact fit. It was like my hand.
Bro,
I met Arnold. He might be 6 foot. Might be 6 foot.
No. So I met Arnold Schwarzenegger many times. I've shaken his hand. We've talked. He is legitimately 5'9".
So he must be wearing some lifters, because when I met him at Mandalay, he was about 6 feet.
So literally, I met somebody in West LA who is connected to his professional clothing designer.
Gotcha.
All of his shoes have 4-inch lifts, dude.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Every single one of them. But when
Arnold
I met
Schwarzenegger is 6 foot tall in attitude.
Dude, when I met him at Gold's Gym, and you talk about a wallop, like I was blown away. I was like, I was let down. I was like, wait a minute, did you shrink? Did you have spinal compression surgery? But yeah, dude, again, the magic of Hollywood. What we could talk about, the illusion of what Hollywood really is. I mean, they create this mythic proportion of human beings, and it's never what it is.
And Jay, that's such a good point you make, is they create this mythic projection of intention and power and aura. But again, it's one of these things people say, oh, we talk about AI. We'll talk about that in a minute. AI and the internet and all of these, things that Rex talks about that literally are coming after us. But I get excited about it. People talk about, oh, Hollywood puts out an artificial projection of who people really are. But that excites me because they know that there are people like us here in this chat room, like us, you and I, that can get healthy, get connected, get spiritual, and project true spiritual power and true spiritual, charisma or whatever. And Hollywood is in the business of trying to copy what you and I can have for real. We're the authentic. They're the copy. So the more they try to copy us, the more excited it makes me, because we got the real thing, baby.
Yep. It's incredible.
And that's what you're all about, is helping us get that real thing. Because it's not just pie in the sky after you die. What about while you're down here on the ground while we're still around?
Exactly.
Bam, we got to put a boat together.
I mean, it's totally true. I mean, they are literally projecting an image onto mass consciousness. Again, I always go back to, we just talked about this on the podcast I just did with Matt, but this book that was written by Dr. Anthony Napoleon, Shadow Man, is literally a caricature expose of what these. So Shadow Man is a person that the CIA hires, is brilliant, who basically architects all of this social engineering that is then projected through Hollywood, through the media, through printed content, through all the newspapers, all the information, the informing devices, to socially engineer the masses. And we just talked about this, Jeff, and this is a brilliant seed for us to talk about right now. But like Matt, who's 33 years old, who's very high conscious, an old soul as I would define it, but majority of his generation, the millennials, they are the first generation that was literally designed completely through social engineering. They were using video and internet and technology at 5 and 6 years old.
That's
if you're
true.
30, if you're 32 or 33, you had the internet at 5.
Yep.
So think about this. And I use this as a comparison point. I'll be 47 in February. So I'm 46 right now. A couple months, I'll be 47. When I went to college, I didn't even have a computer. I was still using a green screen, and you were the same way. I was using a green screen. I forget what it was, a processor. I can't remember those word processors.
Do you know how tall Ferrigno is?
No.
Somebody asked about Lou Ferrigno. I think he's actually a big guy, Lou Ferrigno.
Oh, no. So Lou Ferrigno is legitimately 6'3".
Yeah.
He's a beast. He is legitimately a beast. He's way bigger than the average bodybuilder. Also met him many times. But back to the story, like these kids, they literally have had technology since they were born. Yep. So if you can imagine how easy, and this is what the book Shadow Men, again, Dr. Anthony Napoleon, if you're listening to this, buy that book. It's amazing. You will not stop reading that book. But like these kids have been engineered to think, to feel, and to do certain things because of this, because of the screen. Yes. So we can't understand that, me and you coming from the Generation X generation, because we've only had technology half of our lives.
Mm-hmm. The first book I wrote, Jay, was on one of those things, which was a word processor.
Yes.
It wasn't a computer. It was a word processor. It had a black screen with green letters. Yes. And a dot matrix printer.
Dude, my mom called me 4 days ago and said, hey, we still have this in our basement. I'm like, what? And she sent a picture on her cell phone. And I'm like, oh my God, it was my word processor for college. I go, turn it on, see if it booted up. It turned on. I'm like, I still have papers on that thing.
That's amazing.
Yeah, dude. So, I mean, but when you really think about that and you let that like resonate inside you, I mean, I get mad at these millennials. I hire them. I have to fire them. I mean, they're in my life. And it's like, I sometimes sit back and I'm just like, these guys have been completely engineered.
Yes.
Like they don't know anything other than what the screen has taught them. Mm-hmm. We talked about last time you and I did our show, right? Like most of these kids use Google since they were 7 years old to find information, and they never learn anything. They just learn what Google gives them in a nanosecond. So they don't ever read, they don't go deep. They just have what they call Google IQ. He talks about it in Shadow Man. He literally has a whole chapter on the Google IQ and how we've dumbed an engineered society by lowering the IQ 10 points because people don't learn.
What is their fitness level like as a generation?
Oh, it's the worst of all time.
Yeah.
Literally, we have engineered a giant, amorphous, slovenly, video game playing, don't go outside, don't exercise. We talked about this last time, and I talked about this on the podcast today. The only kids of today's generation, and when I say kids, like between 18 and 30, that exercise are athletes. And those are usually from the lower income, inner cities, where they don't have the option. Because those kids would be the same way too. If their parents gave them technology and gave them access and resources and money, they wouldn't be playing sports either.
It's a sad commentary. It really is. It's a tragic commentary.
It is, man. I mean, it's mind blowing. I mean, again, I look at these kids, 22, 23, 24 years old, and this is a big component of my book. I mean, these are kids who literally are going to doctors with suboptimal levels of testosterone levels of 90-year-old men.
And they're in their 20s and 30s.
22. Jeff, 22, 23, 24. I get 20 emails every day from kids all over the world. What can you do for me? My doctor won't even test my levels. I'm too young.
This is diet and no exercise. Is that it?
It's everything. It's the engineered food. It's the environmental destruction. It's all these endocrine disrupting chemicals from plastic. It's so bad. And these kids, and this is a very unfortunate situation, medicine at this point, and obviously I'm working to change it, but it's pretty much left them behind because the doctors at that age, dude, they won't test them for testosterone, and even if they do, and there are some that are smart enough to do it and progressive enough to do it, they're in a conundrum as the doctor because medicine and the DEA and the FDA and the rules that they have to follow won't approve a guy.
Yeah, the insurance companies won't pay for it.
No, that's not even a question. But they're afraid of their own. If they did, and the guy did have money or his parents had money, out of pocket to do it, they're like, I don't want to put him on this. Because remember, testosterone is a lifelong endeavor. And so, these are kids. I mean, it's a mess. It is, like I say, it's in the first chapter of my book. It's a huge argument. I have literally like 50 citations showing this. This is a crisis. Now, I think I told you this on the last show, but obviously I've done a lot more research since then. By 2035, males on this planet are going to be infertile.
And then what happens, Jay?
Jeff, I don't even know. I mean, is it just a complete AI convergence, or are we eradicated, pushed into FEMA camps? I mean, I don't know. But if we can't procreate, what value and role do we really provide on this planet?
Are you worried about AI yourself?
No, because I won't allow it to happen, and I don't worry or fear anything because, as you know, the rule of love. as your books so eloquently discuss. But if I sat there and I thought about things, because we just talked about that, the whole Ray Kurzweil, like you and I talked on the last show.
Because a lot of people are running up the white flag. A lot of people are scared to death about AI. In fact, I got a call from Coast to Coast AM. I'm going on Thursday night.
I saw that, man. That's
for
awesome.
2 hours to talk to George Norrie about AI and what the Bible has to say about AI.
I'll be listening. I think it's a definite. We both know, dude, the transhumanists, the cabal, whoever is in charge, and they're obviously losing power, it looks like at this point, but they definitely want man to be androgynous and half man, half machine, cyborg.
Yeah.
What was that? The Star Trek, what are they called? The Borg? The Borg.
Yeah, the Borg,
That's essentially what they're pushing us to. So again, it's the question of what's the big picture, though? If they're pushing us to be AI, they're pushing men to be emasculated, have no ability to procreate, then what is the bigger picture? Is it just a total control mechanism, or are we eventually going to be, Soylent Green? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, that's the question. I'm wondering if that part of you can say it's not a plan. It just happened. These guys just started playing video games all the time and wearing diapers, so they didn't have to go to the bathroom. They just got fat and they just got slop. That they tell is that just a wives' tale, Jay? I've been told several times that there's people out there that will wear adult diapers that are gamers, so they can literally soil themselves without getting up and go to the bathroom and keep playing their game. I
mean, honestly, dude, like my bonus son, Monica's son, Evan, brilliant kid, 21 years old, massive gamer. I'll ask him that tonight. I don't know that, but if there are people doing that, then they should be, in my opinion, eradicated. They're not human.
Just clear the gene pool, right?
Just a cleanse.
Out of the gene pool. I've heard several people have said to me it's not just anecdotal. It actually happens.
I mean, dude, honestly, I believe it. I mean, again, that's a whole nother thing. I mean, you look at these 21 and these 22-year-old boys, they have no sex drive. It's not even a want or a need to get.
Seriously?
Jeff, I wish. I mean, this is more of a conversation probably there, but dude,
I'm not around 21 or 22-year-old boys.
Bro,
I don't
it's
understand.
the most amazing thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
Do girls still have sex drive or no?
I think they do, but they're also confused because of the lack of masculinity.
If you're 21 or if you're in your early 20s and you're a man or woman, weigh in with this. Are girls still having sex drive? Are girls finding out that dudes are not dudes anymore? And if you're a dude, what's going on, bro? Let me know. When we were 21, 22, that's all we thought about.
Literally, bro. I mean, that's what I was saying. I mean, my training partner today, my sales director for my real estate team, we were talking about that. I'm like, can you imagine when we were 19 or 20, if they had Tinder? I said, I'd have 100 kids.
Isn't that the truth, man?
Running around. I mean,
we had the Shoe Leather Express Tinder, brother. It was door to door down the street.
Bro, we are in a weird time. That's about all I can say. This is some strange stuff. Like, because I have 4 guys on my real estate team. They're all under the age of 24 and they're all different. One's Chinese, one's Vietnamese, Filipino, one's Hispanic, and one's white. So I have like multicultural team. They're all brilliant. They're all trained really well. And I watch them and we talk about all these things. And it's just like, it's really not a huge, like overarching necessity to get laid.
Trisha G is 44 and she doesn't look 44. So I'm guessing she's dating significantly younger men, but she says I'm 44 and finding that men are way too feminine.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the point. Like if you're feminine, you're feminized, you have estrogenic high body fat, then you don't have high testosterone.
Yeah.
You don't have the innate drive and desire to have sex, to procreate, to whatever.
Yeah. But somebody said if they let a man-eating tiger loose in America, he'd starve to death.
It's absolutely true. My wife went to a party this weekend for my daughters. It was a kids party and it was like mostly middle 30s couples. And obviously we're a little bit older. Monica will be 46, but I mean, obviously we don't look our age. And she came home and she was just like all over me and hugging me and like affection. I'm like, what are you doing? And she's like, oh my God, I'm so glad I'm with you. I'm like,
oh, that's crazy.
I'm like, what are you talking about? And then she goes on and tell me. And again, remember, this is modern day Los Angeles. And she's like, Jay, there was men that literally have boobs, like not even fat. Like this is just the estrogenic effeminization that has happened where they literally have women's boobs. Like they need to wear a bra.
What's it, the man's ear?
Bro, she was just like, she said there were like, 30 people at this party. And she's like, at least 15 of the men had bitch tits, which is gynecomastia, which I write about in the book, where they have, this is again, a known epidemic in modern society where you have overproduction of estrogen and it leads to an effeminization of the mammary glands in men, and they have breasts.
We're not talking about steroid use. We're talking about.
No, this is literally from food. This is from the environment. This is from a lack of exercise. I mean, it's causing.
We have several ladies in the chat room saying, yes, even slender men are getting man boobs.
Yes, slender men. Yes, I'm telling you guys, this is an epidemic. Again, this will be in my book. Ladies, if you're watching this, just again, email me, j@trtrevolution.com. Anybody who's watching this, I'm going to have hopefully a PDF of the new book. It won't be released to the public until January, but this is going to be a massive, massive bestseller.
My husband, who's 45, is way more virile than most men in their 30s. It's all these young guys are so demasculated.
They're gone. This is the culture of today. Again, if you're around these young guys, they literally have high pitched voices. When they're around and you talk to them, they're so high pitched. They're so emasculated. There's so much feminization and estrogen in their body, in their body, in their bloodstream. They just talk like this. It's incredible.
And again, I know I keep bringing it back to weird stuff, but you don't have to, if you are running the Matrix, you don't have to worry about some girly man revolting.
No. Jeff, at this point, it's not even a conspiracy theory.
The worst thing you have to worry about him doing is breaking down crying.
Yeah, this is not a conspiracy theory at this point. This is clearly a designed effort to emasculate men, to make them supplicants. And also, as you know, and again, this is in Shadow Men. I wish I was as brilliant enough to discuss this, but this has also destroyed the family unit. This is an attack on the nuclear family, which is, again, designed by Shadow Men to have single women raising boys and girls who are without a father figure, without a disciplinarian. And then also it's a family court system scam where they have, they have more people paying into the till of child support. And the whole thing is just
okay, let me grab the third rail. We shouldn't talk about this, but let me do it anyway. Is this demasculation of men? And before I say this, I don't hate anyone. I'm not against anyone. Do what you think is best for you. But do you think that this wholesale promotion of the transgender agenda has to do with this?
Of course, it's all part of it. It's the androgynous AI. Now, here's something crazy.
Dude, we saw Bruce Jenner win a freaking gold medal in the decathlon.
Don't even.
That was Caitlin.
Don't even let me go down that path. They're putting memes on Twitter now of like what she looks like as a woman versus what she looked like or whatever looked like as a dude. I mean, dude, somebody who's very non-woke sent this to me the other day and I was kind of blown away. He was like, and he's a very non-woke person. He's not even remotely at our level. He's like, why is it that all of a sudden all the men in popular society and popular culture are becoming like little Roman boy toys from right before the collapse of the Roman Empire. And then I started thinking about Jeffrey Doherty and I started thinking about, Pinella, John Pinella talking about
Podesta,
all of Rome.
Yeah. And there's,
if it is the same being.
Several people have said they don't want women to be women. They don't want men to be men.
If it is the same being that's in control of the three-dimensional matrix that we live in, this simulated holographic reality, it makes sense that the same shit that happened before the last collapse came around again. And that's what we're seeing. And again, I don't want to go all conspiratorial here, but they are effeminizing men in every level of culture.
Trisha asked, do you think breastfeeding boys has any impact, positive or negative?
So great question. Also in the book, not breastfeeding is fine. The formulas that they created about 15 years ago or 17 years ago, I can't remember, it's in the book. They started putting more soy in the formula because obviously it's cheaper to manufacture in mass quantities. So there's definitely an estrogenic or phytoestrogenic effect that's in the formulations that they're feeding infants and have been for the last 17 years.
So breastfeed your kids.
You should absolutely, if at all costs. them. Obviously, some women can't. Now, I will say this. I gave both of my daughters and my wife breastfed 4 months, the second one, and 6 months, the first one. Her boobs just went to nothing. I literally gave both of my daughters, and my daughters are 9 and 7. And I told you this, Jeff, they've never been vaccinated. They've never been sick a day in their life. If anybody wants to see what my daughters look like, my 9-year-old looks like Mary Lou Retton. And she dances, but she's just a genetics. But I gave them muscle. Dude, I literally gave them muscle milk. I put muscle milk powder in their little shaker bottles at 6 months till 3 and at 4 months to 3. And that's what they drank when they were drinking their formula along with milk. And we know the milk is loaded with steroids. God knows what they put in the milk. But both of my daughters are, strong, viable, good bone strength, good genetic girls. And obviously they have some DNA behind it, but I know that giving them that helped.
Absolutely.
There's essential fatty acids in that muscle milk. Again, muscle milk before it was amalgamated. And
muscle milk is a product, folks. You can get it at the store.
So muscle milk is made by a company called Cytosport. And just real quick history of muscle milk. It was designed by 4 doctors in Northern California, in San Francisco. It might have been San Jose, for cancer and wasting patients because it's high in essential fatty acids, high in a multi-spectrum amino acid blend, so that when these people were at wasting levels of death and close to it, you had to, increase essential fatty acids and protein that could be bioavailable and assimilated. So then they got smart and they went mass marketed. Now, obviously, when anything gets mass marketed, they probably water down the ingredients. But even when I was using it, 6 or 7 years ago, I'll still drink it today. That's not my product of choice, but I'd still drink it today. But the essential fatty acids and amino acids in that mixture are great for babies when they're growing and their bones are forming.
Hey, Violet Flame, are you talking about guy liner? You think guy liner can be hot? Jay, would you ever go guy liner?
Dude, it's so bad. In these guys with their nose, eyebrows done up, and it's insanity. It's just.
I will make a confession. I did wear guy liner one time when I went and saw Billy Idol.
When you went on a show or something.
Got all dressed up, went and saw Billy Idol, and put on the guy liner.
Yeah, body paint doesn't matter.
Did the whole 9. That was awesome. That was great. Oh man, Billy Idol.
It's so sad, dude. We have really seriously destroyed our society from a standpoint of like men. Then that's, you asked the question about women. Like, it is a bad thing for women because they're stuck. They don't even know what to look for. They don't even know what a strong man is. You know what I mean? Sorry.
Phone time. And talk about Billy Idol. He's older than me and he's ripped. He's fit.
Yeah. Dude, you can be fit all the way up until you're 85, 90 years old. It's just a choice. Are you going to take care of yourself and preserve your vessel, or are you just not going to take care of yourself? It's a simple choice. It really is.
Choice. So what do you recommend to women?
Man, it's so hard. I don't even know. Again, I was talking with my guy this morning and we were talking about that. We're like, shit, what if you were a chick these days? What do you do? I still think it's easier for both men and women to find people because of online dating, because of all these different sites. Obviously there's a lot of fake profiles and you don't really know what you're getting into, but at least
as long as you don't find a psychopath, you might actually find a decent person.
To me, and obviously you have to be in a big city, you have to have fish to, a pond with enough fish, but it's still easier to communicate with more people efficiently in a quicker time frame than it was when you and I were growing up and you'd have to go to a bar or a church or social media, some social congregational standpoint where there were bodies.
Yeah.
But it's tough, dude. They're not, as my good friend, business partner would say, most men today would not storm Normandy Beach, brother.
No, they wouldn't. They wouldn't, bro. There wouldn't be, and if we go back earlier than that, there wouldn't be many guys with pitchforks and torches heading up to Frankenstein Castle either.
No, man.
They'd be like,
they really
that monster's only going to kill a few people. We're not going to worry about it.
It's crazy.
Here's Trisha G, beautiful British girl, not easy finding a strong man. If you listen to Heidi at all, she's like, guys are a joke. Jenny Moonstone is married, but she's also comments about, bro, guys, are you hearing what we're saying? If you can get yourself together If you can get yourself in shape,
so many women,
get yourself spiritually in tune, dude, the world is your oyster.
Incredible. Yeah, it's absolutely true. I mean,
fantastic women just waiting on you to step up to the plate.
I mean, again, that's a whole nother chapter in Shadow Men, talking about the frustration that's also been engineered because women are having to do so much, like single women. Because another thing too, and that's also discussed, is a lot of men just abdicate their responsibility of being a man now because they look at how system has broken them down, right? Like if you get married in a lot of states,
they won't even ask you out anymore. Trisha says they won't even pick up the phone to set a date.
Well, dude, they're
scared.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. I mean, if you knew a friend that got married, entered a relationship with $250,000 to his name and a really good job, and then got divorced, and had to pay his ex-wife, who probably cheated on him, which is why the divorce, right? Because he has low testosterone, he probably can't get an erection, whatever, he has no desire. And then he has to pay her $7,500 a month for the rest of his life. Why? And you knew that guy and he told you his story. Why would you get married? The system is so broken. The family court system is disgraceful. It's run by Lucifer himself. It is the most evil, hateful, shitty system in the history of mankind. I mean, I have so many stories from men in the family court system whose kids have been stolen from them. And they're still having to pay. It's insanity.
Are you guys, if you're men in here and you're reading this chat, you should be motivated, brother. Yeah. You should be motivated. I mean, there's a lot of good women out there just waiting for some men to step up to the plate and be men.
It's amazing, man. I mean, it's sad. I mean, it's mind blowing, and it's happening. It's not just younger guys now too. It's obviously it's affecting, the optimal hormone levels are. I mean, it's not just men, and it's not just men too. Women are dealing with the issue in the 40s, but yeah, I mean, it's just, we've engineered a society where men they either have opted out, they just kind of reach their hand up and say, I'm out, or like you said, they wear diapers and play video games. I mean, what the hell?
That's so sad. It's so sad, but it explains, I'm not looking for, romance at this point, but if I go out, it's amazing to me. I was thinking there's a lot of daddy issues out there, but it's not that there's daddy issues. It's just that there's no real men.
There's no
I
men.
Constantly get, young, attractive women, hitting on me, and I'm not at the point where I'm into it, but now I'm starting to understand why.
Yeah.
Like, I'm 54 years old. Why are you coming up to me? It's because there's no men.
There isn't. And
we have that aura about us, not because I'm Tom Cruise, but because I'm in decent shape. I've got my spiritual life together, and I'm projecting a powerful image.
There's such a lack.
That's what happens, man. It's not the girls, it's the dudes.
Yeah, there's such a lack of like men who carry themselves with confidence. Obviously, the physical degradation is a big factor now too. But it's like I always say, and Monica and I talk about this, and obviously we're twin flames. I'm very blessed to be with a woman of her caliber. But
that's awesome.
She says this, and she's a beautiful woman. She's like, any woman who's empowered, who's true to their sovereignty, wants a man that they can trust in and essentially lead them.
And that's why men run from those women, because they're so blown away. They're so intimidated.
Women, and again, I don't want to sound sexist, but women in this, straight back from the biblical times, women, if they were engineered as we were engineered to care and be maternal and to provide. Okay. They weren't engineered to be CEOs of Fortune 50 companies. Now, that doesn't mean they can't be, and there's plenty that are. And obviously anybody can choose to do anything they want. But the reason that the nuclear family has been disintegrated is because people don't accept roles. The man, physiologically, from an evolutionary standpoint, was the hunter-gatherer. The woman was raising the children, was providing for the family. All of this shit has been lost. Nobody sees this as important, but it does provide a very powerful evolutionary argument that men and women come together for specific reasons. And in this amalgamation of transhumanism and this matrix of crap that we live in, especially in the Western world, all of those roles have been lost.
Yeah. And you have people like Violet Flame, who's young, attractive, powerful young woman saying, all I want is a spiritual master like myself. Where are they?
Right.
They're not out there.
Mm-mm.
They
No,
are.
you're asking for way too much. You just want to try to find somebody who's masculine, who you can trust, and who essentially lives by the rule of serving others and guided by his heart chakra. I mean,
look at our genre. I mean, think of the leaders of the quote unquote paranormal realm, quote unquote truth realm. Where's the young dudes? How many young dudes could you name right now that are up and comers in this movement?
Matt Belair is the only guy, and I just got on the podcast.
Matt?
He's 33. He's the only guy that I know.
I mean, Rex is mid 40s.
Yeah, Rex. Yeah, not even close.
Where's the young dudes? I mean, it's George Norrie, and it's
there isn't anybody.
We're all old, brother. That's a scary thing. If we don't get it done now, Jay, you talk about last chance. You talk about
it is, man.
Sound the alarm.
We already know, dude.
Jay, if we don't get it done, if you and me and the Heidi Vandenbergs and the Trisha G's and the Jenny Moons, if we don't get it done, brother, it may not get done.
Nah, it's over. I mean, again, it's just, how resigned are you? Like you and I always say, what's most important today? There's two things: love and making sure that when your incarnation ends, you exit the simulation.
Dude, if we don't get it done, it's not going to get done. This could be the last stand. If we continue to do a show together, we should call it The Last Stand.
We should, dude. I'm
not kidding around. I'm serious.
Let's do it. I'm down with it. We'll do it every other week. We'll come on your show and we'll go in the Decoders every other week.
This is The Last Stand. This is our last shot.
It is.
If once we leave, Jay, and it's left in the hands of these diaper-wearing gamers, what's going to happen?
No, they're not capable. I mean, they can't, bro. They have safe spaces. Like literally, corporations have created work orders, HR, operational manifestos about safe spaces, about how people are not even allowed to be held accountable. Like if you are going to fire a person for gross negligence or incompetence or just not being able to get the job done, I don't even know how they define it anymore. You have to first inform them and then give them their safe space time. Bro, we are living in literally a holographic reality. Nobody wants to assume or accept responsibility for their actions anymore. It's a shame.
We're living, it's a little early to say this, but we're living in a world of pussies.
Yes.
And I hate to say that. I don't use that word, but it's true.
Complete wussies. Pussies, wussies, weasels, sheep. I mean,
they can't get out of their gaming chair without straining their vagina.
Honestly, just saying to me, man, just the thought of that, like what kind of a person has such low self-esteem that they would shit themselves and be okay with it and sit there in their own feces and play video?
Because I'm about to get to the next level, man. And they're playing these interactive games and,
it's funny. You just say that. Dude, you just say that. That brings up a really good point. Because I see that in a lot of these kids that I work with. They do have that mentality of the shit's about to hit the fan. I got contrast and the struggle in my life right now. Oh, reset. They really don't know how to handle discomfort.
Yeah.
And that's why there's such a lack of drive, it seems like, in so many of these people. And again, it's all social engineering, but they really don't understand that the great gift, as you and I know, of the human element or the experience as a soul is that we are our best in times of struggle.
Jay, you remember you and me when we were growing up, man, we were in the gym and a crisis to us was when we hit a plateau on our bench and we couldn't break through. You remember that, how it just frustrates the hell out of you. You're at a plateau. You can't get past. And I had some guy unsubscribe from me because anyway. And now these guys are worried about getting to the next level of a video game.
It's amazing, dude. Or no, I mean, but again, the bigger socioeconomic picture is they can't accept responsibility. They can't become independent. They're living.
Nothing's their fault.
They're living in their parents' house.
And they feel like it's owed them.
Yes. The entitlement complex.
Entitlement. And it's, thank God for people like, Jenny and Heidi, they're around that age. And I don't see that in them, but oh man, I tell you what,
it's all parenting, dude. It's all parenting. I mean,
isn't it? The parents have abdicated. I mean, they got the video games from somewhere.
Bro, we have literally enabled We've given them resources. We have allowed them to be 16 or 17 years old without jobs. Easy come, easy go. I mean, again, they're just creatures of habit. They're just observing what they can get away with and then testing the waters.
Yeah.
It's
and here
crazy.
again, Violet Flame saying, this is why all of her guy friends now are punk rockers, because they don't give a bleep about what people think. Dudes, I'm telling you, there's a world of great women out there waiting for you to just step up to the plate.
For me, it's the drive. The drive is gone. I remember when I was 17 or 18 years old, and I obviously went to college and graduated and everything, but I just was like, the only thought I had, Jeff, and I'm sure you was like me too, is like, holy fuck, I can't wait till I can get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Kids today all live in their parents' house.
And they're professional students.
Basement, room, whatever it is that gives them creature comfort, that allows them to play video games and eat shitty food.
Dude, I must have gone to sleep. I must have gone to sleep for 5 years and the world went to hell while I had my head down in my trailer writing books and doing stuff.
I'm telling you, dude,
it's far worse than I thought it was, brother.
It's a different world, dude. Yeah. And I mean, I wish I was like in a small town in the USA, but I'm in fucking LA, dude. It's crazy, brother. I mean, like I said, we find ourselves in a very strange time. I don't know. I think there are positive things happening.
What do we do? Let's get now we've cried wolf and we said, oh shit, everything sucks. What do we do constructively to make a difference in our lives and in other people's lives?
The first thing, and the first thing you can do is take your bodies and your health seriously.
Yeah. Quit going to McDonald's, quit going to Burger King. Don't go there anymore.
That stuff is poison.
It literally is poison.
Wait a minute. You talk about they just did a big study, and I actually linked this in my book too, and somewhere in the Midwest, like ontological epigenetic stuff over the last 50 years. And they literally have narrowed it down that the majority of cancer deaths are from people who literally ate engineered food.
Okay.
Jeff, there is no question. I say this on Twitter. I get into arguments with scientists and doctors about this all the time. All disease is metabolic. It will be proven so at some point. Everything is man-made. People weren't dying of cancer in the 17 and 1800s. There wasn't even cancer.
McDonald's, when you go to the grocery store, stay on the outside of the grocery store. Don't go through the lanes and buy all this processed crap.
You have to eat food. You have to eat home-cooked food. You have to meal prep. You have to literally prepare your food. Brown rice, sweet potatoes, chicken, fish, ground beef. Try to get grass-fed if you can afford it. But yes, it's so easy. And again, exercise. Still your mind. Go out in nature. Sun gaze.
Jay, let's talk about exercise. You're not talking about going to Gold's Gym. You're talking about if you're not doing any exercise, start walking around the block.
Yes, walk your dog.
Walk your dog. Jog around the block. Go to the park that has these little things, where you jog a while and then it says, do a pull up. You jog a little further and it says walk on this beam. I don't know what these things are called, parkours or something like that.
Yep. The number one
push-ups. Do some push-ups and sit-ups.
The number one and number two things that anybody can do right now, listening to the show, regardless of fitness level, is you can stop eating carbs after 6 o'clock at night. That's simple to do.
Or just stop eating carbs.
Just stop eating carbs. Well, if you're morbidly obese, it's one step at a time. But 6 o'clock at night is your rule. You stop eating carbs after 6 o'clock at night. Go 30 days with that principle, and you will be blown away.
It'll significantly change your life, won't it?
Oh my God, you'll be blown away. Now, and then the other thing is,
all we're talking about is no carbs after 6 o'clock. No Lucky Charms, no potato chips, no popcorn.
Do it for 30 days. 30 days. And then if you really want to, add it to it, do what Jeff does. Do the blowtorch. Fast 3 or 4 days a week so that at 6, you stop eating and you don't eat again until 1 o'clock the next day. 3 or 4 days a week, do that.
I'll tell you, I'm doing it hardcore, Jay. I don't eat at all on Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. And that's kind of what I do too. But again, baby steps for people that need to be baby stepped. But
there's levels, and this will change your life, folks. I mean,
100%.
You guys say to me, "Oh man, you look so much different."
100%.
This is all I do. I'm not taking any drugs. I'm not taking any supplements.
You don't need any drugs.
Is doing this, man. I'm doing what we're talking about doing. and
Yep.
it'll change your life. You can see it do. You can see it's made changes in me, and it's only been a month or 6 weeks or so.
Literally, it's the fastest way to drop body fat in any other
Absolutely.
way. You don't need drugs. You don't need supplements. You don't even need specific foods. You just have to fast. Again, email me. I'll send you a copy of the book. It's jay@trtrevolution.com. I'm happy to send you a copy of the book. But the other thing about exercise, walk uphill.
Walk uphill. Absolutely.
Find a hill in your neighborhood, around you, a park, whatever.
Or if you're in Florida, you can find a bridge.
Yes, walk up and do it for 15 or 20 minutes. And that will literally drop weight and improve your heart rate, and improve your metabolic health, and improve your cardiovascular fitness. Incredible, more than anything else. And then
I've started sprinting up our bridge. I'm doing sprints up the bridge 3 days a week. And it keeps me from pulling my hamstrings too.
Exactly. Once you become not obese and you're now on the path of really getting your health, then it's incredibly important to build muscle. Now, we're not talking about going to the gym 7 days a week, like you said, and being Mr. Fitness. We're talking about 3 days a week. Tops.
Sandra, you're fine.
Absolutely. A full body workout. Pick 6 exercises. Do 1 or 2 sets, 12 to 15 reps. Learn the movement. Learn how to contract your muscle fibers. Learn how to eliminate ego and momentum. And just do that until you make it a conscious habit. I mean, again, Jeff, we're talking literally 90 minutes a week, 30
And
minutes.
it's amazing how you'll find that healthy muscle mass burns a lot of fat.
That's the only thing. The book, that's the number one point that you learn in the book, The Metabolic Blowtorch Diet, is that muscle is the greatest deterrent to aging.
Yep.
It kills disease. Disease cannot happen if you have metabolically active tissue on your body. You're not going to get disease if you're well muscled. You don't have to be a Hulk. You just have to be lean and functional.
Yeah. And if we want to turn it to the spiritual realm, I think the best thing that you can do is to begin to meditate. Even if you have to meditate for 5 seconds, until you get down meditation for 5 seconds, then 10 seconds, 15 seconds, all of a sudden you're meditating 5 minutes, and that will change your life. And before you go to bed, ask yourself positive questions. What can I do to be more spiritual? How can I get into my best physical condition? How can I attract the mate I want to be? How can I be the person I want to be? And when you wake up in the morning, have some good positive mantras. Today's going to be a great day. I'm going to become a better person today. I'm going to look for the divine in the world today. I'm going to listen for the voice of the divine today. Little baby steps, those things will get you off and running. Between the physical and the spiritual, that will change your life in 30 days. And then we can get Violet Flame and Trisha and these girls out of here not complaining anymore, because there'll be some real men out there to choose from.
I use an app. Everything you said is 100% accurate. I also use an app called the Chakra Meditation Healing app, and it's free. You can get it on Android or iPhone. If you email me, I'll send you a link to it. It's amazing. It has a frequency. It's almost hypnotic, but it has a frequency that tunes each chakra. And, Jeff's talking about meditation, but if you don't know how to meditate, you can't quell or still your mind. This is the perfect medium to get into meditation, because this is going to literally clear your chakras. You have to listen to it, but it's so programmable. You can do it in 7 minutes. You have 7 chakras. The minimum is 7 minutes. Wake up in the morning, you feel like shit, you got all this stuff to do before your world starts and the grind starts and all that happens. Go somewhere, preferably outside, put your feet in the grass, put your headphones on, listen to that thing for 7 minutes and stare at the sun.
That's a huge thing. Get out on the ground.
Dude, do that as in addition to the other things that we're talking about for 30 days. And I guarantee you by day 31, your life will change.
Absolutely. 100%.
Dramatically change, like literally improve, quantum leap change.
Yeah, you won't believe the difference kind of change, like miracle kind of change.
Yeah, miracle. It is a miracle. You're literally programming your energy centers of your body to be receptive to health, to be receptive for spirit, to goodness and to happiness and joy. It's amazing how many people are blocked, bro. Like you say in your books, walking in shoes on concrete, touching screens, letting the blue light just contaminate your physiology. It's insanity.
Yep. You got to do it. You got to do it. You got to do it. So we've given you a good place to start. And what do you want to say in closing, Jay?
It's always a blessing to come on your show. I definitely want to start doing this more with you. You're right. I think we call this the last stand.
It is,
I'm
bro.
I'm happy to get my graphics people to start blowing this up. But again, if you want to connect with me, Jay@trtrevolution.com. I wish I could respond immediately, but I have literally so many people emailing me at the course of a day, but it's a blessing and I'm happy to do that. But you can also find me online at tr2revolution.com. My Facebook, don't come on my Facebook. I have 600 friend requests there and I only have like 6 spots. Facebook's a joke at this point, but just email me and I promise you, I will eventually write you back. If you would like a request for any of my books, just send me an email. Again, Jay@tr2revolution.com, and I'll be happy to send you my books. No cost.
Excellent. Excellent. You can't do better than that, folks. And just keep coming back here. Every now and then we say something worth listening to. So we hope that you'll be around. We hope that you'll continue to really take the bull by the horns, take your life, take the reins of your own life. Don't wait for your ship to come in. Swim out to meet it. Because, folks, this really is the last stand. And we are going to be the last people standing. We're going to make it. We're not going down without a fight. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty with Jay Campbell, and we'll see